All right, YouTube, welcome back again to another Ramson looking at his guns. This is the Hammerli TAC R1 22LR. As always, you can see there's no magazine inside there. And as I get a little closer inside the barrel, she is definitely clean. There is nothing inside here whatsoever. That's a triple check. So just couple of observations off the bat. This is a heavy gun. It's a heavy trigger pull. I think it's close to 8 pounds, a little bit more than 8 pounds on this. But she is a light kick gun because there's a 22 LR, and since she is a heavy gun, there's really not much of a kick to it at all. You really don't feel it. It's mostly metal. Again, just solid up top here on the barrel. Everything is just, there's lots of places for attachments because it's got the Picatinny rails on it. So I've got an attachment spot here for my laser. I've got my tripod mount down here along with my half/thumb grip. It's got a quick release slot right here, which they've only got the one on this side and one on that side, which, I wish they had one here at the very back in the buttstock. All they do have is just a regular place to clip through. I don't feel like that is strong enough and would hate to be able to crack that. Tear down of this gun is relatively simple. It's 2 pins that you've got to release, one right here on this finger. See, I get a good picture of that right there. And then one right over here on this finger. And you can see it right there. So releasing these 2 pins, you want to release the back one first. That one comes out relatively easy. And then I typically use this to help get this one started and pushed through. And once that's done, the upper and the lower come apart relatively easy. Now on the lower, where I typically clean is all throughout inside the magazine chamber. Just trying to get any residue of gunpowder that might have was released through inside there. And then this area right here, and this is the plastic composite stuff. So going through, just cleaning all this off, making sure that there's no residue of gunpowder whatsoever. On the upper, to get to the barrel and everything, you do have to remove the flash hider. So it just unscrews right off. And then once that's off, you want to grab the upper assembly from both here and here at the same time and just give it a nice little pull. And you can see that comes right out. Once that's out, you're going to remove this portion right here. Now, right there is a tension screw for your spring that helps with like the eject. Every time you shoot, when the gas is released, this portion will get shot back and forward again. The spring inside here can be tension mounted loose or up a little higher. I believe they say looser for higher round, higher grained. If you're going to shoot, what was it? A faster bullets than your normal bullets. But I found that from factory, I've never changed this. This has been fine. Now to clean this though, to be able to get to this part right here, the chamber itself, you need to remove this spring. So you've got to release this nut right here. Now, the way I did it is I put my Allen key wrench straight down like here, and then I counted how many times it took me to take this out, which was 13 complete revolutions, because it did pop out once I got down to here again. And took everything out, was able to clean this nicely, and then once I put that back in, I just counted 13 revolutions back. And I also took a little picture of where it was prior to, how far it was seated in, a little macro on my phone, and then took another macro just to see if I was relatively close. And it looked close. I'm sure I'm off a little bit, but from the smell test, it looked fine. But once you've done, remove that spring, that allows you to remove this little chamber back to get inside and clean up a little bit more, because that's where a lot of your gunpowder is right inside this little area here. So your rod, just basically using your cleaning rod and your saturated little towels right through, back and forth. Typically, after shooting 200 rounds on this, I'm probably putting about maybe 10 of those little squares through, those little cotton squares to clean this thing down. I do use the brass attachment to go through and try to release any debris inside there first. But, typically, like I say, you're passing through about 10 of them, those little pads through. Because it is a long barrel. Those pads are small. So it does take a little bit to clean this thing down. That being said, the assembly is very simple to take apart. So, and then putting it back together is, again, it's not that hard. You're just going to reverse your flow again. So you come back over here. Everything's upside down. Push it right through. Slide that right in until you hear it snap. Put your flash hider back on. And give it a good tightening. You don't have to, you don't have to be a pussy about it, but you got to make sure it's in there. So she's in there good. We're going to put the lower receiver right back on the upper. And just line up your pins. And that closes through. And then you're just going to reset all your pins. You may have to finagle up and down a little bit. But typically, like that one just got through. And this one just got through. Some things I don't like about this. So I did put on a nice 9-inch tripod up front. And they've got the little extender arms. You can see them popping right out. And that's fantastic when the gun is not loaded, sitting down. Wow, looks amazing. 20 round clip, not the 30. It's the 20. You can see that this is empty. There's nothing inside this whatsoever. So just to verify, let me just get some light on this if I can. There's no bullets inside that. So once you put the 20 round in, unfortunately you play weeble wobble. It doesn't sit nicely. Even shortening this doesn't do anything. Lengthening it kind of helps a little bit better, but not a lot. And again, you put the 30 round in, and it's a fugazi. Forget about it. They do have pop-up sights out of the box. These pop-up sights are amazingly on. I didn't have to make any adjustments to it. So, yeah, price now. I was going in to buy the Smith & Wesson Sport MP 22LR. And that's right around $449. It was on sale for $429. Now, Illinois has a 10% tax on the gun itself, so $429 plus another $43 on that. Then $25 for some bullshit, and then $10 for your FBI background. So another $35 on top of the $43. So I was looking at less than $500 for the Smith & Wesson. This was $479. So an extra $48 on top, plus the $25, plus the $10. So I came out a little bit more, $500 in a little bit. But I'm glad I did. This is amazing. Everybody complains about these 22s, no stopping power, whatever. I don't really care what they say. I pull this up and I aim this down at somebody. That's going to give them pause. It's going to give them pause. I don't care who you are. You are going to have to think about it. You're not going to sit there and, through your mind, you're not going to differentiate a 22 from a 9 from a 5.56 barrel, especially in the dark. So this is going to give anybody that walks in the house pause, especially if I pull this up and point it straight at you. You're going to think this is an AR. Secondly, this is 30 rounds. So unless I've got somebody coming at me with full body armor, if that's the case, I'm pretty fucked anyway, right? Somebody really wants me dead. So, doesn't matter if I've got 5.56. I'm probably going down through that fight regardless. But this is 22 LR. So if somebody doesn't come with body armor, dude, you pump 10, 15, 20 of these into somebody, it's going to stop them. The range, this is where this comes in the best part. It's 8 cents a round. It cost me $2.40 to fill up this magazine and dump it at the range. You're looking at 50 cents for 5.56 rounds. And a 30 round magazine's at $15 every time you take it to the range. So $2.40 or $15. You make the decision. I can shoot this 6 times to your one of the 5.56. Not only that, you're going to keep your hearing. We were shooting this at a friend's property a couple of weeks ago, and we're standing about 15, 20 feet away. Nobody had hearing protection on, didn't need it. This thing does not deafen you, because again, it is a 22 LR. So much easier on your ears. And again, just the fun of this, the shooting, how heavy it is, no recoil, the sights, how tight they are already out of the box. This gun's ready to go. It really is. So, you know, I kudos to whoever designed these things. Kudos to who you know, who had thought of like a 22 LR and an AR-15 style gun. This is a lot of fun, and I can't stress enough how much you know, people that have shot it were first laughing at me saying it was a kid's gun, but once they were done shooting it, they're like, holy shit, that was a lot of fun. And I'm like, I know. And a friend of mine, I wasn't really thinking of buying one of these. I was actually going to be like one of you guys and buy an AR-15, but a friend of mine talked me into it, and I trust this guy because he's got a lot of guns. He's been shooting a long time. He knows his shit. He's a hunter, you know, great outdoorsman type thing. So Jason is his name. He talked me into buying a 22, saying how much fun it was going to be. He wasn't lying. He really wasn't. So hopefully that helps some of you people out there if you're thinking about making the jump over to 22 or an AR-15. Again, you know, I've got a 9mm at the house, so I've got my home defense. You pull this up, I don't care who you are, it's going to stop you for a second to assess the situation. Is it worth my life? Because you don't know what this is, and especially with the attachments on this, your first thought is AR-15. All right, have a great day, everybody, and hopefully this helps your decision making.